Jorge Regaldo making his way to the cage here tonight as he prepares for battle against Marco Esperza. 5 rounds ahead of him. Ricky, I know in your career, especially as an amateur, you've had your share of preparation for 5-round fights. How is that different, or what is the mindset going into a 5-round fight?
Yeah, I would just say that, you know, like, for example, here, whenever I was fighting amateur for the 125-pound title, you know what I'm saying, back in my day, and yeah, 5-round fight, you know, you just got to make sure you're doing those extra spars like that, you know what I'm saying? You're doing your preparations, hitting those 5-round spars, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you're doing your cardio, you got to make sure you're preparing for what is the regulation time, and in amateurs, they're going to be fighting 5 rounds of 3 minutes. That's a 15-minute banger they got ahead of them. You know what I'm saying?
Do you pace yourself differently? You know, like in the early rounds, knowing that there could be late rounds.
You know, I think it just varies from fighter to fighter. You know what I'm saying? It just depends. It just depends on what the strategy that they're going to apply. Where's their energy system? If they try to make the fight slower in the beginning and then go faster in the end, that's their strategy. Or perhaps they go for the strategy of they're going all out from beginning to end. You know what I'm saying? So it just varies from fighter to fighter. I believe this fight right now at 125 pounds between
they're going to go hard.
It's going to be a big one right here.
Yeah.
This is going to be a scrap. There's a high-level fight coming up right now.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, his opponent makes his way to the cage, representing the House of Dragons, Marco Esperza.
No stranger to the Elevate Fighting Championship cage, Marco Esperza. We've seen this man many a times with some incredible performances under his belt as he prepares for this championship fight. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Both fighters in their early 20s, 3-1 Esperza, the 2-0 Regaldo. Both coming in at the 125-pound weight limit, 3-inch height advantage for Regaldo. Let's see how that comes into play during this fight. So our main event, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, this fight right here, like I was saying, this is a high-profile fight in the 125-pound division for sure. This is gonna be fireworks from beginning to end, in my humble opinion.
Final touches for Marco Esperza. There you see him, Marco Esperza, ready for action.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Houston, Texas, are you ready?
It's
time for the big one. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 5 rounds of championship action to determine the Elevate Fighting Championship flyweight champion. Introducing first on my left, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall. He weighs in at 125 pounds. His record is undefeated. 2 wins, no losses. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, Jorge Regaldo! And across the cage on my right, fighting out of the red corner. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing at 125 pounds. His record stands 3 wins against a lone defeat. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, your reigning, defending, Elevate FC flyweight champion, Marco Esperza. Referee in charge of the action, J.J. Ferraro.
Marco Esperza, Jorge Regaldo, and this fight is officially underway. Man, they come bounding out to the center.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big fight right here, for sure. Regalado with the,
my God. Esperza with the knockdown.
Oh yeah, big right
And he's
hand
got
over
it
the top.
locked in.
This is gone
It's over.
already. The big right hand into the back take, into the rear naked choke right here.
And it's in deep, gentlemen.
Esperza
Marco
puts him to sleep.
Esperza makes quick work of Jorge Regaldo.
Holy moly.
Wow.
Holy moly. He put him to sleep, man. That was utterly incredible. Literally less than 30 seconds, I think it was, man. Landed the first big bomb he could, the right hand, got the rear naked choke, man. That was crazy. That was crazy. That was crazy.
Let's take a look right here at the replay.
Oh my goodness.
This overhand right was the start to the end for Jorge Regaldo. And right immediately he had his arm trapped with that leg.
You know, and that's how it is in these big fights, real fights like this, you know what I'm saying? All it takes is one shot, you know what I'm saying? And the first one to land was Marco Esperza, and he's leaving with the belt tonight, you know what I'm saying? That was crazy. That was crazy. That was really exciting, and the crowd went wild. Wow.
That was about 20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Yeah, bro.
What a performance,
You know,
man.
it's like all that waiting in the back room all night, all that training, all the preparation, and boom, one big shot. You know what I'm saying? And Marco's leaving with the belt. That was very exciting for sure.
Man, that's not easy, man. We're gonna make this one official. Let's hand it over to Colin Cantrell.
Ladies and gentlemen, at 30 seconds in round number 1, your winner by rear naked choke and still your Elevate Flyweight Champion, Marco Esperza.
Congratulations to Marco Esperza, still your Elevate Fighting Champion here tonight. All right, gentlemen,